Hello everyone, my name is Alan and I've been selling on Amazon for more than 4 years now. And if you are a Canadian and you want to sell on Amazon, well, today I'm going to show you exactly how to sell on Amazon as a Canadian. So we're going to be covering where you can sell as a Canadian, and we're going to be comparing whether you should sell on Amazon USA, whether you should sell on Amazon Canada. Also, we're going to cover where are you going to be paying your taxes, how do you set up your bank accounts, how they're selling in Amazon US, but you are actually in Canada, and some more basic steps to actually crush it on selling on Amazon. If that sounds interesting to you, like this video and let's continue with the video. All right, so now let's talk about where you can actually start selling as a Canadian. If you sign up on Amazon Seller Central, if you sign up a seller account in Amazon, you will automatically gain access to all the North American region marketplace, including Canada, America, as well as Mexico. You will be able to sell on these three marketplaces automatically if you get approved for your seller account. And if you want to expand to other countries like Germany, like Australia, like the UK, you can too. All you need to do is just apply through your Amazon seller account. So now let's actually choose your marketplace. So for most Canadians, they are interested in either selling in Canada or that they are trying to sell in the US. So let's compare these two most popular marketplaces first. So let's talk about the pros and cons on selling on Amazon USA. The number one reason why you want to sell on the Amazon USA marketplace is because it has a massive customer base. It has 10 times more populations than Canada, as they tend to be more spending power than Canadians. Also, they have the biggest amount of customers in the whole North America regions. So that means that you have a much higher sales potential, a much higher revenue potential, because you have more buyers with more purchasing powers. So for example, if I'm selling the exact same product in Canada and versus in the US, I probably would have gotten like 10 times more revenue in the USA market alone than in Canada. So here comes the cons on actually selling on your Amazon USA, and that is a much higher competition level inside of the USA marketplace, because there is a lot more demand, a lot more supply. There is going to be a lot more sellers there. There is going to be more domestic sellers, and there is going to be more international sellers. You're going to see Canadian sellers there, you're going to see Chinese sellers there, you're going to see USA sellers there. Also, in that marketplace, you are going to have a lot higher cost. For example, your FBA fees, the money that you have to pay Amazon to fulfill your stuff is going to be higher in Amazon. It's going to be higher in Amazon USA. Also, the price that you have to pay for advertising, that is the PPC inside of Amazon. For the same product, for the same niche, for the same keyword, inside of Amazon USA, you probably have to bid for like $1.5 per click. So meaning that every time people click on your ad, you have to pay $1.5 to them. Now, inside of Canada, in the same product, same keyword, every time someone clicks on your product ad, you probably would have to pay like 0.5 cents. So that is like a 3 times difference in advertising dollar there. You are going to spend 3 times more for advertising your products to USA buyers, just because it's going to be a lot more higher demand in that marketplace. A lot more people are competing with that same keyword. Also, just everything you can think of is going to be more expensive in the USA. For example, the subscription that you have to subscribe to Amazon to actually start selling, it's what we call a subscription fee. So in the USA, it's going to cost $40 per month in US dollar, but in Canada, it's going to cost $40 in Canadian. So as you know, US dollar is more valuable than Canadian dollars, even for the subscription fee. Now that brings us to the pros of actually selling on Amazon Canada. First of all, is that you're going to see a lot less competition than selling on Amazon USA. You're going to see a lot less sellers. Also, you're going to see a lot less products, and you're going to see a lot less fees, a lot cheaper fees here, as we have just covered in the cons of selling in Amazon USA. The second pro is that it's going to be easier for you to launch your product if you are in a tighter budget. Meaning, for the same product that you have to launch in Amazon USA, you could have done the same thing and launch in Canada for like a quarter of the price that you have to usually pay. Now, for example, if I'm going to sell in Amazon USA, I probably have to order like 1,000 units to start testing and start selling my products in Amazon USA. But I could probably just order 300 units to start selling on Amazon Canada, because it's going to be a lot less demand here. And also, if I want to prepare $5,000 for advertising costs to spend on Amazon USA, I probably would have just have to prepare like $1,000 to $2,000 to spend on Amazon Canada. So I will have a much lower cost to actually launch in the Amazon Canada marketplace. And the other pros is that once I launch in the Canada marketplace, I can start gathering reviews, I can start gathering sales, I can start gathering keyword rankings. And when I do decide that I want to start selling this product into the Amazon USA, into a more competitive niche, I can carry all of the reviews that I've gotten from my Canada marketplace all the way to the USA marketplace. Meaning that if I start launching in Canada and I've gotten like 50 or 100 reviews from Canada marketplace, when I start launching in the USA marketplace, I can have that 100 reviews on that listing because the reviews are shared all across Amazon. So that means if you're going to launch in the USA marketplace, you will have a much bigger advantage and much higher chance of success rate because you have the reviews already. And that is one of the most critical points that a customer looks for. Now, let's talk about the cons of selling in Canada. Well, it's going to be very similar than we just talked about. First of all, much smaller marketplace, much lower revenue, and much lower buyer amounts. Also, it will have a fewer amount of product opportunities and higher product research restrictions because there will be less potential products that fits your category of choice when you try to find a product inside of Amazon Canada, because the demand in Canada is much lesser than in the USA market. But that could also be a good thing for you if you have a tighter budget, right? So the conclusion is that you can start selling on Amazon USA or you can start selling on Amazon Canada. It doesn't really matter. It all depends on your situation. Do you have a limited budget? Are the product more suitable to start launching in the Canada marketplace than in the USA marketplace? Or is it vice versa? Or that you should start selling on USA first and then expand it to Canada marketplace? It's all depend on you, but I would recommend that you only choose one marketplace to start with. Do not try to launch both simultaneously in the USA and Canada because as a first timer, as a beginner, it's going to be overwhelming for you. You're going to be experiencing a lot of different settings across the PPC and everything, and you're going to have to ship your products into different warehouses. So in the legal side and everything, it's going to be a little bit more complicated than for a beginner seller. So I would recommend to only start with one marketplace first and then expanding to the other marketplace. So let's talk about shipping and inventory management when you are going to sell in Canada or in the USA. If you're going to start selling in the Canada marketplace, you will need to send your products to a Canada's FBA warehouse. And if you're going to sell in the USA, Amazon will give you a USA-based FBA warehouse for you to send your products to. So if you're going to sell in USA, you're shipping your products to USA. If you want to sell in Canada, you're shipping your products into Canada warehouse. Now, let's just say that you are selling on Amazon USA only and you want to start selling on Amazon Canada. Does it necessary for you to have products inside of a Canadian FBA warehouse? Not necessarily, because Amazon do give you an option for Canadian buyers to shop your USA product directly from Amazon.ca. But there is a big disadvantage of doing that. It's because, first of all, the customer will probably have to pay duties. And then the second thing is that your customer would have to wait for a longer time. So usually if I'm buying something in the Canada warehouse, I could probably get that product in just one day. But for a USA product, I probably have to wait like 5 to 7 days to actually get a product in my hands. So if a customer realizes that, then your product would probably convert a lot less because of a longer waiting time. And then the second con is that as a seller, Amazon is going to charge you more money because the shipping fees to actually fulfill your products from USA to Canada is going to be much higher, and you will have to bear that cost. When a buyer from Canada actually purchases something from your USA inventory, you will get much less profits from doing that. You will probably break even after all of the fees too. But the good thing is that you can actually use this to test if your product can actually sell in the other marketplace. All right, so now let's talk about the business structures of selling on Amazon Canada or Amazon USA as a Canadian. So first of all, I want to make a disclaimer that I am not a professional accountant, but as a Canadian selling on both of the marketplace, I can share you my experience and what my accountant has said to me. So I could be wrong here. Always make sure to consult an accountant before making any decisions. So first of all, do you need to have a company structure? Do you need to have a company set up? Do you need to have an LLC corporation to actually start selling on Amazon? Now, the answer to that is no. You don't have to have a company set up or a company structure to start selling on Amazon. You can actually start selling on Amazon as an individual or as a sole prop. The benefit of that is that if you're unsure about this this business, if you are unsure if that's something that you will want to do in the future, you just want to test out the water, that's completely fine. You will have less paperwork to do, you will have less legal stuff that you have to handle, but still get to try on actually selling on Amazon. And also, if you start as an individual, you can always change it into a corporate business structure later down the road as well. So that's exactly what I did. I started selling on Amazon as an individual, and then I set up my company, and then I changed all of my information on my Seller Central into my business informations, and then I carried on selling as a company. So you can totally do that as well. But I would also recommend to actually start getting into the business structures, to actually start setting up your company as soon as possible for these reasons. Number one is that it is very easy, very cheap. You can just do it online by yourself on the Canadian website very easily. And then the second thing is that having a company's business structure set up is that you're going to have a lot more tax benefits. And then the third thing is that you're going to track your expense a lot easier, so that you won't be mixing your expenses from a business and then on your personal level side. So for Canadians that want to sell in the USA, that want to sell in Amazon.com, do you need to register a company in the USA? The answer to that is no. All you need to do is to have a Canadian corporation, and that's it. You only need to set up a Canada business and you can start selling on Amazon USA. All right, so now let's talk about how taxes work for Canadians. Now for Canadian taxes, let's talk about income tax first. So for income tax, all of your worldwide income must be reported to the CRA. So it doesn't matter if your income is made in Canada, if you're receiving Canadian dollars, or if your money is made from the USA and you're receiving US dollars, it needs to be reported to the CRA. And for the GST and HST, if you are making over $30,000 revenue, you must register and charge a GST HST on applicable Canadian sales. But do you also need to pay taxes to USA? Do you also need to charge taxes for your USA customers? Now let's talk about that. For your US tax obligations as a Canadian corporation, is that you will need to fill out a form that is a W8 band form, a W-8 BEN form, or a W-8 BEN-E form. So this form basically confirms that you are not a US status, and you will be able to apply for a treaty benefits, meaning that you will not have to pay taxes on the income in the USA. Now let's talk about sales tax on the Canada side and the USA side. Is that sales tax is something that you don't have to worry about. Amazon made it so easy for sellers like us. Amazon is going to collect all of the sales tax for you. It doesn't matter if you're selling on the Canada side or the USA side. They're going to collect and file it to CRA or IRS automatically for you, so you don't have to worry about anything about that. All right, just to repeat, I am not a consultant. I am not a professional CPA. Talk to your accountant to get tailored advice. I am not a tax professional, and this is only for entertainment purposes. Let's talk about setting up bank accounts if you want to sell in the USA or Canada as a Canadian. First of all, I would recommend to opening a business account if you have a corporation. That will make sure all the deposits from your business side goes into your business bank account. And you can basically link your Canadian bank account into Amazon Seller Central, so then Amazon will be able to deposit all of the money bi-weekly to your account. Now, if you are a Canadian and you have a Canadian bank account, Amazon will only deposit the Canadian dollar amount, not US dollar amount, into your bank account. Amazon is going to convert your US dollar into Canadian dollar and deposit to your Canadian bank account. And Amazon would take a exchange and transaction fee every time from you. So in the long term, that could hurt your business a lot. So if you're going to be selling on Amazon for long term and you're going to be start selling a higher revenue amount, a higher profit amount, I would recommend using an online service called Wise.com. So Wise.com is basically an online bank platform that actually have US based account. So then you can ask Amazon to deposit all the US dollar into that US based account, and you will receive US dollar amount. And Wise is also a great tool to basically transfer and exchange your US dollar into Canadian dollar and deposit to your Canadian bank account. They charge a much lower currency exchange rate than most of the banks out there. Now, the second way to get Amazon to actually deposit US dollar amount is to actually create a US based bank account, not a US dollar account in RBC or TD that are based in Canada. I'm talking about actual US based bank account. The reason why this is helpful is that it reduces the currency conversion fees, and also it's able to hold your fund longer, safer as well, because it is going to be an actual bank based in the USA. Now, how do you do that? Is the number one option is what I talked about, open a Wise online bank account. The second second option is that you can actually use some of the cross-border account option that is offered inside of Canada right now. So for BMO Bank that is based in Canada, they also have a cross-border US-based bank called BMO Harris in the USA. Also, like RBC and TD, they all have their cross-banking account in the USA as well. So make sure to contact them if you have a preferred one, and then actually create a US-based bank account there. Unlike using Wise, the online platform, if you want to create a US-based bank account using like TD and RBC, you might need to get a ITIN number or a EIN number, plus a US-based address in some cases. All right, so now you have all of the fundamentals ready to actually start selling on Amazon. Doesn't matter if it's in USA or Canada as a Canadian. Now the next step is to actually start selling on Amazon. First of all, you will need to create an Amazon Seller Central account. You just need to Google Amazon seller account, and then basically you can sign up there. And then that is where you can choose your selling application. So Amazon offers two seller applications. One is an individual selling plan, and then the second one will be the professional selling subscription. So I would always recommend to only selecting the individual subscription first, because that is essentially free. You don't have to pay for anything until you start selling. But when you're actually going to be start selling on Amazon, change it into the professional subscription. Then at that time you will only get charged when you are actually selling on Amazon. And now will be a good time for you to actually decide whether you're going to sell on Amazon CA or Amazon USA. After you created your Seller Central account, you can start doing product research. For example, I would recommend using Black Box featured in Helium 10. It's a software where it can help you find millions of winning products out there in Amazon. And once you have selected a product, that is where you can officially start your Amazon journey. And hopefully all the information that I've just talked about will be able to help you start selling as a Canadian. If you want to learn more about selling on Amazon FBA, click on these videos here and I will just see you there. Bye bye.